The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
You know, I'm fascinated by one thing, Dan Hicken, as the NFL season opens tonight, and that's this narrative or the, you know, like the shading of Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and the Texans offseason. Like, this notion to me,
yes, sir,
that suddenly Deshaun Watson is not going to have near the big plays and the productivity is ridiculous. And I think Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller at the end of the year, the Houston Texans pass offense will be every bit as productive as it's been the last 3 years. It just won't be dominated by one single person. Are you nervous at all about the Texans' ability to be as pass productive with Hopkins gone?
When we do our picks later today, I will have the Texans in third place in the AFC South. Does that answer your question?
Okay.
I don't believe in the Texans.
Did you have him? Would you have believed in him if they had DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a fair question. I don't know. I really don't spend that much time on the Texans, but
well, it's a division team. I'm disappointed in you.
I don't know. I don't know that they will. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not a believer in the Texans. I like two other teams in the South more than I like them, I guess.
Okay.
So, but Deshaun Watson is a great player, and perhaps he will show off that greatness. Who are the weapons for the Texans?
Well, they got Brandon Cooks.
Okay, till week 3 when he gets a concussion.
Well, he's played a lot of healthy seasons here, but he must have been hurt recently if that's the first thing you think of when you think about him.
You don't think of that?
No, I think Brandon Cooks is a guy who's a weapon.
Okay.
And then Will Fuller, they need to step up.
Will Fuller also gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, moves into the into that second role. So,
Brandon Cooks caught 42 balls last year. Did catch 80, 65, 78. Second year in New Orleans, he caught 84. That was sort of his breakout year. He's just Brandon Cooks is strange because he's so young, and he's on his 4th team. Isn't that weird?
It is very strange because he has been productive, and by all accounts, he's not a bad guy.
Right?
Like they don't say.
Right.
I guess he has enough value, and he's on teams that have enough receiving that they try and get something in return. Because when you do think about it, the Saints traded him, and Michael Thomas is coming along. They got all those weapons. The Rams traded him. They got Cooper Kupp and Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods at the time.
Yeah, they still have. You're right about one thing, and they got Tex Cobb on that team.
Randall Cobb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Randall Tex Cobb.
Yes.
Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, Kenny Stills.
Yeah. I just don't I think
Kiki Kute.
Well, I listen.
I know you're a big Kiki Kute
I think,
fan.
Look, the Texans may or may not be good this year. I just don't think it's going to be because they traded Hopkins. I don't think that they're going to be any less proficient offensively and explosive, and that's not taking anything away from Nook. Hopkins. Yeah.
You just went with Nook.
I'm streetwise that way.
That's good. I like that.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Everyone's getting paid, by the way. Everybody, the whole league should be happy. Everywhere you turn, a guy's getting $1 trillion, and our guy,
he got his money.
He got what he wanted.
Time to get that money.
Pro Bowls and Super Bowls be damned. Jalen got what is most important to him in his football career, an $100 million contract.
They're trying to get this money, buddy.
Guy's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a player. We'll see if it's
Jalen laughs last.
We'll see if
we
works.
knew he was going to get paid.
Of course we did.
Somebody was going to pay him.
The Jags weren't going to pay him. And
if it wasn't the Rams, it would have been somebody else. But he was going to get paid.
And he should.
And you had to figure after giving up 2 1s, it was going to be the Rams.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Right. Also a good point.
Yeah, that would just be asinine to give up those and then not. So, look, deserves it for when he's on the field playing. Again, I could even put up with all that stuff. But so... ends Jalen Ramsey for me was the faking the back injury to get out of town. I mean, that is just the weakest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. But not taking anything away from the guy as a player. He's a heck of a player.
Yeah.
And, people say, well, how many interceptions do you have? People don't get 7, 8 interceptions anymore. It don't work that way. Quarterbacks complete 70, 80% of their passes. They're no more 8 interception
I just
seasons.
think the only thing I'll say about Jalen as far as on the field, to me, he's an elite corner. All right?
Yeah.
But there are 5 other elite corners.
I agree with that, too.
That's all. I don't think he is like head and shoulders better than everybody
else.
else.
He's not Deion. No, he's not. He's not better than those guys.
And that's what kind of, I think sometimes that narrative comes out.
Tre'Davious White and Gilmore in particular.
Yeah.
Every bit is. Yeah, no, and to Jalen's credit, he fuels that narrative. He constantly tells everyone how great he is.
Oh,
and
sure.
It seeps in at some point.
Oh, sure.
But I just say buyer beware with the Rams. Talk to me in 2.5 years when that $105 million ain't enough anymore, and your team's not winning because you've given away all your, even though you've given away a lot of your draft capital. So, but in case you missed it yesterday, Jalen got the 5-year,
what a deal, though.
$105 million, most ever, 71 guaranteed. And I say that because, Hopkins got paid a couple of days ago, Watson got paid in the last couple of weeks, and Patrick Mahomes hit the Powerball, a month ago.
Like, if you were going to rank them this year, and this is where I get a little, I'll look at a ranking, just some top 25 NFL cornerbacks. Number 1, Stephon Gilmore. Number 2, Jalen Ramsey. Why should he be 2? Amid an uneven 2019 campaign, Ramsey demonstrated occasional flashes of brilliance, had a tendency to freelancing and appear disinterested at times. So that, you can't do that when you're making, and that's what I would tell him. Listen, we'll pay you, but you can't be disinterested at times. You can't
even
freelance.
If it's 27-7.
You can't say, well, I'm staying man. We're supposed to be in a zone. I mean, go back to the Chiefs game last year. Whose fault was that? All those touchdowns. Everybody says Jalen. So give me, Gilmore. Give me Tre'Davious White. Give me Marshawn Lattimore. There's a lot of guys. Darius Slay. Young guy. Marcus Peters, even though Jalen's a better corner than him, okay? But Marcus Peters
makes more plays.
Thank you. Made more plays when he went to Baltimore. Mm-hmm. That worked out better for Baltimore than it did for, L.A. But with all that said, Jalen Ramsey should be and can be the best corner in the NFL.
I had a buddy point out to me one of the real sad signs of a tank, if it is what the Jaguars are doing, and I never even thought about this.
Okay.
And that is this.
Tank talk.
The amount of fans that would be tuning in tonight for one reason. Mm-hmm. To pull against the Texans.
Right.
The amount of fans on Sundays who, when the Jags are over, all right, I'm turning on Denver, Tennessee. Come on, Denver. When you're not tanking, you have also sometimes three other games that you have serious rooting interest, hoping that your competition in the division will fall that week. But if you tank, which the Jags say they're not doing, then you lose that, that little outlet as a fan as well.
Yes, also true. And it's listen, there's not a tremendous buzz in this town for the Jaguars, and that's because of what the Jaguars have done. So we'll see. But, if you can win a couple games and Gardner Minshew can play well, they'll come flying back, and that would be great. So,
well, it's so
trying to keep.
That's why you can keep everyone engaged till at least the end of middle of October, end of October if you win this first game. You have a win in the division. You're 1-0, and
I liked some of that Raptors Celtics game last night. Those are two gritty teams battling down to the wire, and give Toronto credit, man. I mean, it's real easy right now to, fold the tent and down 3-2, and they found a way to hang in there and win the basketball game, and Kyle Lowry came up big. I think the Celtics win in 7, by the way. I still think that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're as sold on that as me. But
no, I'm not sold on that at all. I think it's a coin flip.
Yeah. But I think but with that said, the Raptors are a team you like to root for. They lost their best player by far, and they had a really good season, and they won a playoff series, and they're battling with the Celtics.
Just like the gritty. After watching what the Sucks did, you like to see that out of teams. Because the Milwaukee Sucks embarrassed themselves to no end with their, nonsensical power rating,
I liked
best record.
At the end of the game last night, there was 0.5 seconds left, and it was Toronto's ball, and they're up 3. Game's over.
Mm-hmm.
And Lowry goes to inbound it, and Nick Nurse comes running down and calls timeout, and Lowry was so furious, and they're yelling at each other.
I think
it was good stuff.
I think the Celtics got a little bit screwed in that it would have been the most controversial late-game call ever, but they should have teed up Nick Nurse. Did you see the play where Tatum, it's a tie game, or maybe they're down 2, Tatum's got the ball, he drives. Nick Nurse isn't standing on the sideline. He's standing on the corner of the court, and he throws it right to his chest. It's obvious he thought he was a player.
Yeah.
You can't stand there. That was terrible.
Yeah.
And look, if he hadn't thrown it right to him, I'd say okay. Because there was also a Boston player over there about 3 steps away. I'd say okay, he just missed him.
Yeah.
But I think he thought that guy was a guy.
And it looks like we're going to get the Clips and the Lakers, which is what everybody kind of wanted in the Western Conference Finals.
I give the Lakers just like a melting snowball's chance. That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I hope you're right.
Kawhi's the plug puller, man.
Yeah.
He's the plug puller.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Okay, we're going to put you out of your misery. Boop. Beep. Flatlines him, dude.
The plug puller.
He's a killer, dude.
He's a
The Hillside Strangler is what he is.
Oh, we already had one of those.
Well, that guy is unbelievable. He's so strong, man. You know what you don't even realize because it doesn't happen to him?
Yeah.
But when Kawhi gets the ball in the lane and he goes up for a shot, you see these guys get bounced into, like, the third row.
Yeah.
Kawhi just comes down on 2 feet. They bounce. I think the guy's made out of iron, Hick. I mean, and not going to post on social media. He's not going to throw up some poof of baby powder before the game.
Right.
He's not going to scream Taco Tuesday. He's not going to ask everyone to look at him. He's just going to quietly go out there and pull the plug.
Well,
And he'll pull the plug on the Nuggets tomorrow.
if he is able to win championships with Toronto and the LA Clippers, I mean, because by the way, with all due respect to Toronto, Boston, and Miami, I think the team from the West wins it. And so we'll see what happens. So,
Good point on the text line about Jalen. Now is when we all love those high California state taxes.
Just trying to get this
He
money,
said it a little
buddy.
bit different, and his dumb A is paying most of his salary to taxes. I wonder if that beef, the $105 million, what do you lose in taxes in the state of California? I bet you lose half of it.
oof.
Maybe more. I mean, federally, you probably lose 44%, don't you?
It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
Good chunk of change. So,
It's literally going to be like a $60 million dealer in Jacksonville.
and the Lightning in hockey had a great ending last night. They scored with like 8 seconds left to
Saw
take
that.
a 2-0 lead on the Islanders. And so I smell a sweep in that one.
Very, very intuitive on your part. They call you Dr. Ice.
They do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Barry Melrose of the drill.
Roberto Clemente Day was nice.
Yeah, you know, I
Nice memory of Roberto Clemente. He's just a tremendous man who died so young. And I read a story yesterday about him when he perished. I always thought, and I think I got this wrong, and tell me if I'm right. You obviously live down there and we're friends with the Clementes. Did the plane go down on takeoff then? It didn't make it to Nicaragua?
think it was approaching Nicaragua. I think it happened more on the Nicaragua, but I don't know that.
No,
for
I don't
sure.
think so.
Okay, well,
I think on take because
it went right into the
because
Caribbean right there.
Because I was
You know
reading
what?
a
I think
story
maybe now that you say that, I think that does ring a bell.
because they had the
Yeah, the engine failed right after takeoff.
Yeah.
yeah, and because Manny Sanguillen, who idolized Roberto Clemente and who was his
A pirate catcher.
mentor, and Roberto took Manny under his wing, was so devastated he's out on the beaches and actually went diving. He jumped on a boat, a search boat, jumped on the boat
That is
to
a
try
very,
to help
there's
find.
a couple things there. That's very shallow water and very clear water.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would.
But
just,
I don't think they ever
Said,
found. I don't think they ever found
yeah.
it.
The engine failed. They said they initiated a return to the airport in Puerto Rico.
So they were pretty far
they-
out. It wasn't just like right off the
They were
roadway.
a mile offshore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, out there, it's not.
yeah.
Shallow. It's
Yeah.
probably still pretty clear.
No, but they said the beaches were very. The beach there is really rocky. And then when Sanguillen went diving, he had never been diving. They gave him a tank. He said he saw a shark. It was crazy. I mean, but that's what Roberto Clemente meant to him. He couldn't even go to the funeral.
It's one of my biggest regrets is, you know, you're a high school kid. You don't think that way, but I have been in the Clemente home a dozen times, okay, and been down in the basement where they have basically a shrine, all of his awards and his bats and his MVPs and gold gloves. Heck, I didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And I'm down there with a bunch of high school kids just
Yeah.
doing what high school kids do, and I didn't really soak in. I mean, I knew the Clementes were famous, but to me, they were just buddies, you know, and good too. What a nice family, too.
And he was.
They've done so much in Puerto Rico in his legacy.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about a family living up to
Yeah.
the legacy of a father? Those kids were young. Like the one that it was hardest on was Roberto Jr. And he had he was the best of the baseball players. He is 2 years older than me. Luis, who I was closer with, is just
one of them
1 year
was
older.
6 when he died. I don't know what
That would be the youngest of them.
Uh-huh.
Well, although no, Luis would have been 6. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think she had kids from other
But he had
I'm
three.
not sure
He had
about that.
3 sons.
He had 3,
Yeah.
and the older one looked just like him, was going to play like him, but he handled it the worst. He got into drugs in high school. He had problems along the way, and he's he sorted it out, and he's doing great now. They're all doing great. And it's she, the matriarch of that family, is a powerful woman, dude.
Yeah.
She really is. She's got a real presence about her.
And if you don't know, you should look up what a great player he was because as a kid, the one thing I remember about Roberto Clemente.
See, I never really saw him play. I
Right.
knew of him.
Yeah.
But I was 5 when he died.
Yeah, what I remember about Roberto Clemente and the way he played, that guy could throw the baseball from like the right field corner wall to home plate on the fly. I mean, he had just a cannon for an arm.
I remember what I remember
And
about.
then the way he ran.
Yeah,
and,
all arms and
Yeah.
legs. They're
Yeah.
just going everywhere when
Yeah.
he ran. Feet flying out to the right and left, arms just like he's swimming almost.
And I believe he got on the last day of the season, he got his 3,000th hit off of Jonathan Trumpbauer Matlack of the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, ended his career with exactly
a double,
3,000.
if I'm not mistaken, in his last at-bat.
He
so.
was, he died at 38. I don't know if he had much baseball left.
Right.
But the fact that interesting notation that it was exactly 3,000 hits, that
Yes.
was also
Yes.
interesting. But, like I said, a nice family. And
the Pirates paid
they
him-
were still sad when I was there, Hick. I moved there in 81.
Yeah.
That's 9 years after all this,
Yeah.
and the island was just starting to emerge at that. I mean, now that's an ode to Clemente everywhere, and it happened pretty quick. But he was as genuine and real a hero as they had.
And if we're honest, when we think of Latin ball players, we don't necessarily know their nationalities. You knew Roberto Clemente was Puerto Rican.
I did by 1981, that's for sure.
Well,
but
I mean, you know what he meant to that.
Now we know that
particular,
more.
Yeah.
Now we differentiate a lot more.
Yeah.
Like
he's Dominican or
he's
he's Venezuelan
correct.
or so.
Puerto Rican,
Well, I'll give you an example. Ronald Acuna.
Venezuelan.
So, there you go.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I wouldn't know that.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I probably wouldn't know the same. Same with you.
Yeah. So it is. I guess, but the point I'm trying to make is Clemente had such a presence that you knew where he was from and what And I read his biography. It was tremendous. It was a great read. Just everything that he went through too. By the way, he went through a lot too, playing baseball.
I reached out. I spoke with one of those guys in the last. I think they lost the mom, maybe or no. So they lost some. They lost. There was something happened.
Yeah.
I think maybe they did lose the mom.
Maybe she did.
I think they lost the mom like about 3-4 months ago.
Vera.
That's terrible. I reached out.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, because I reached
Vera
out.
Zabala, age 78,
December.
died in November.
Yeah, so it was late last year because I reached out and we spoke a little bit. But anyway. All right. Doc is up next. We're game week, so we got some game day injuries we need to discuss and some other ones as well.
Let's do caller number 2 right now. Beef, what are we handing out today at 641-1010?
Call number 2, Dan is going to take home a $25 gift certificate to Winn-Dixie. Score more savings in the Winn-Dixie app. Download today for winning deals, your mystery bonus points, multiplier coupons, and more. Winn-Dixie, it's a win-win.
Boom!